cares? Doesn't matter.
What? Alright, we back. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking around for the runs. We are here with SableDragonRook. I already said all of this, so I'm not going to say anything else. But I'll let Sable take it from here. She's going to be running 2 games back to back. And yeah, donate lots of money to make Sable pet pickles because it's the best thing in the world. I'm going to go get some sleep. All right. Love y'all. Hang out. Bye.
Have good sleep. Thank you. Hi, everybody. This is Sable. SableDragonRook. You can call me Sable. Nice to see y'all. Let me know, obviously, if there are any tech problems that you notice, and I will take care of them as we go. But we're doing this schnazzy combination Pathless and Donut County run. So that's definitely 100% a category that exists, right? So first we're starting with Pathless. I guess timing starts now. Start the timer, whatever. I wasn't used to that title screen because usually I play on a file that I've already played on, so I can set up like glitches and stuff. But because we're doing Donut County right afterwards and we need to see the achievements pop for that, I needed to be on like a completely new profile, which means that we have no save data from this game. But thank you for starting the timer. Go get sleepies. So how are y'all doing today? Thank you for coming to hang out. Yeah, so where I am currently, it's 5:30 a.m. But Pathless is a pretty fast-paced kind of game. Chill vibes, and yet super, super fun to play. If you've never played it, definitely check it out. Like, I would go as far as to say you don't even have to necessarily like the genre of, like, puzzle platformers, because that's kind of what this is. It's like a puzzle platformer adventure. Cheville, you know a run as well. What would you describe it as? Because it just feels so good to play. One of the only games that I put in, like, a ton of hours and felt like I could have just kept playing it indefinitely. The first time that I played it, super, super fun. Pretend that any of those arrows hit because I'm a good gamer. So yeah, we are this lady here in red who's come to this island to kind of check out what's going on. There are these big creatures here like this eagle called the Tall Ones. They're basically gods, and something's not right with them. We're not really sure what, so we came here to investigate, see if we can do anything to help. No, I'm already up for sure. I went to bed at like 9:30. So the Eagle Mother here, who is the mother of all the other gods on this island, has given us a light stone. It's basically a key, or like a yeah, I mean, it's a key that turns on the towers in this area. Yoink, we skipped that little cutscene with a precise jump. And all of the towers throughout this island are supposed to be radiating like good, holy energy. But right now they're kind of messed up, and we think that that's why the gods are getting sick. So we're gonna go put these light stones back in the tower and turn them back the way they should be. I've got this fancy mask that I'm basically never going to use again, but it's cool. Lets me see through walls. Really, the reason that you use that is, like, sometimes to solve puzzles, mostly for exploration, but the negative, of course, is that we can't run while we're using the mask, which is why, you know, in a speed run we would never really use it unless we have to. So we're going to be seeing a lot of pressure plates, a lot of these kind of puzzles where we have to shoot a target and then we get a light stone as a reward. This is the tutorial area, so the puzzles are very simple. They're not so much puzzles as just doing the thing, but they'll get more complicated later. So here's a tower. Pop this light stone in. And we've purified it. And this is going to be all bosses. Definitely not the longest category of this game, but it's up there. We do like all of the game story beats, as opposed to like any percent where if you see in the background over here, there's this big mountain and then this like flaming island in the sky. Any percent will just have you climb that mountain in a way that you're not really supposed to. And then just go straight to the end of the game, so definitely a very cool run if you like climbing mountains. But yeah, so our movement throughout this game, as you can see, is actually our bow, which is pretty clever. So we have a stamina bar on the bottom, and shooting these talismans replenishes my stamina and gives me a little speed boost. So we're going to be trying to carefully curate... Oh, I'm low. Help. There. Carefully curate the talismans that we're hitting and making sure that our stamina is always topped up. Yes, this is the run that has Mort as a boss. And he is handsome. But just wait until Gecko Gods comes out. Imagine the shenanigans that I'm gonna get up to in Gecko Gods. It's a whole game about lizards. Okay, so we've put the third light stone in the third tower. Every area that we go to is gonna have 3 towers. So once you're done with the third one, you know that you've accomplished your goal, and they're all gonna resonate, which you'll see in just a second. And that's how we're gonna help out the gods who live here. So she's got this curse inside of her, and the pure energy is kind of trying to draw it out. But as we're gonna learn, we are, you know, a pilgrim. This is kind of our job to try to take care of this place. So we know a special little ritual that we can do, or rather that we have to do, in order to finish purifying her. And we'll do that in front of anything that's corrupted that we find. We'll do that little ritual. It's this one. Can't really see it because the camera zoomed, but I'm over there doing it. So she's better now. We got the curse out of her. The big hole in her is completely normal. She's fine. All the tall ones have big holes in them. So the other thing that I suppose I should mention, and I'll try to bring it up again when I actually like do it. You charge up shots with the bow, and if you fully charge it, you can be guaranteed that your arrow is gonna hit, unless there's like a tree in the way or something, right? But if you're careful, you can half charge a shot. It's called a skill shot. Takes less time, but you know, if you don't perfectly charge it, you'll miss. I'll point those out as we do those. And then I'll just let the Godslayer here do his talking. So we had just helped her, and then he ruined it. Like, thanks, bro. You just made it worse. I love his design so much. He's so cool. And he's a lot bigger than he looks. We just always talk to him from, like, really far away. He is most certainly not person-sized. So as the Eagle Mother is saying here, he's kind of gone and wrecked everything on this island. He's what we came to find when we were like, what on earth is happening over here? It was him. He's causing all sorts of problems. He's corrupting all of the gods. And so we gotta go one by one and, you know, purify their towers with the light stones and do the ritual and save them. And as we do that, that's gonna unlock that, like, pillar that she was just showing. Right now it's surrounded by, like, cursed energy and we can't go up it. But as we help them, we'll be able to take it up and get closer to that island in the sky, which is where the Godslayer is hanging out. We're gonna try to go kick his butt. But first, most important part of the game, right here. Donk. Hi, buddy. This is Pickles, because I have decided so. Every runner usually has a name for the eagle. But he's gonna be coming with us. He's our friend. So, because Pickles is wonderful, and because we can do this, we can pet Pickles. Every $2 donation, I will stop and pet Pickles. Because we can do this anytime we want to. So if you would like me to pet Pickles, that's just $2 for you. In addition to the Pet Pickles incentive, we do still have some bid wars going to choose the outfit for Resident Evil and to choose the outfit for Link's Awakening. Outfit choices. So if any of those sound interesting to you, those are there as well. Supporting RIP medical debt, which helps to eliminate people's medical debt. So Pickles is teaching me how he's going to be able to help me solve puzzles. I totally kind of glitched my way into that cutscene, don't worry about it. He can pick up heavy things. If I whistle for him, he'll go and do what I ask. Because he's smart. So Pickles and I are going to be on this whirlwind adventure together, where hopefully he listens to me, because I wouldn't be myself if I wasn't playing some speedrun where I have to tell some AI animal what to do. And, you know, most of the time he's going to listen. He's a little bit more cooperative than Trico, but... Oh. That was so close. That was so close to being swaggy. Okay, pretend that it landed there the first time, okay? So Pickles can see the statue of the Godslayer with its eyes lit up, and that makes him really, really upset. He hates it, and he's gonna be completely unwilling to help me until I turn it off. And I mean, that's fair, you know? The Godslayer did just kind of wreck his day. So, can't blame him. Yoink. We're not supposed to be able to see that. That I just asked Pickles to go pick up, but if you do it without manipulating the camera, then you can temporarily see through that wall. I'm gonna do this mask a couple more times, just to make sure that we don't get glitched here. For some reason, if you don't use the mask enough before you get here, when Pickles tells you that he can fly you across, he just doesn't. And you just splat onto your face. Alright, we're almost there. I could have technically had Pickles do that slightly differently, but I'm gonna do this a little bit safer. Make sure he doesn't drop it. Okay. With that, we are done with the tutorial little section. And we're gonna be heading into the main map. And our first boss. You ready, buddy? Welcome back, Dub. How you doing? This music is so rad. I say this every time I run this in a marathon, but Austin Wintory, the person who did this soundtrack, is just phenomenal. He did... What was the other thing that he did? Did he do Journey? Or did he do Abzu? I don't remember. Would kind of make sense if he did Abzu, because that's the same studio that made this. But he just makes really, really great music. Hey, cool, I got a trophy. So I'm gonna be getting trophies. Normally I wouldn't during a run. But like I said, because I'm doing Donut County afterwards, and we need to get trophies for that, I needed to play on a new profile. So now Pickles could flap, because he is big strong boy. He can lift me up, but only by one for right now. So it's very helpful. This first flap will come back as soon as I touch the ground. Any other flaps that we get later are going to be on like a recharge timer. But this first flap will always be immediate. I'm in the water. Whoopsie. And here are a couple skill shots. I was talking about those earlier. Only half charging the shots and being very precise about it. There's some inherent benefit in those, and I'll talk about that in a second. But for now, here's our boss. And by the way, if anybody notices that I'm due for a Pickles pet, and I haven't noticed, just tell me. And I will be happy to pet our feathery friend. So yeah, these skill shots, right? You only charge halfway, which obviously saves you a little bit of time. But there's a high risk that you're gonna miss. So mostly skill shots are useful when you're gliding with Pickles, because the entire time that you charge up your bow while you're gliding, you're falling down. You're losing altitude. So if you only spend half as much time charging, you get to stay up higher and, you know, you don't fall as far. Man, my skill shot game apparently is fire today. What is going on? But yeah, so we got a sneak peek there of Cernos, this area's boss. And some fire guy. And just like before, we're getting light stones by solving puzzles. And then we're stopping the bad energy from coming out of this tower and trying to purify him. Yeah, the boss designs are great. And one of the things that I love about this game is, like, they were not afraid to just turn the saturation up to, like, 3,000, you know? Where on earth? He always, like, sits in a place that makes it very difficult to understand where I am. But yeah, this is like a super highly saturated game, just very vibrant. I love it so much, and it feels so good to play. But yeah, what's this cloud, right? This cloud is the bane of our existence. And of course, you know, because it's a marathon, he made sure to sit exactly where we were trying to go. Cernos is inside that cloud. So every boss is going to be roaming the map randomly inside that cloud. And if we get caught in the cloud, bad things happen. We don't want to do that. I missed that skill shot, whatever. Because if we get caught in the cloud, that's going to trigger a stealth section. I'm sure you can imagine, you know, speedrun. Not really the time that you want to be doing super slow, sneaky stealth, so I cannot. We're going to try to avoid that whenever possible. Thankfully, if we go back to the main menu, the game kind of forgets where the cloud was, and it respawns it. 99% of the time, that's going to be somewhere that we're not. And so it gets the cloud off of us. But, obviously it still takes... This is timed on real time, so it still takes more time to go back to the main menu than it does to just avoid the cloud entirely. So there's kind of an element of RNG in terms of, you know, do you get a good run via resets. Many times I can make it through this first boss without ever having to go back to the main menu, so he's kind of already being a jerk. But we'll see what he decides to do. Yeah, my skill shot game is like on today. I'm not gonna complain about that. So Cernos is fairly simple. We already have all of the light stones that we need. Thankfully his towers only require one. That's gonna change. Now I just need him to stay out of my way and kind of mind his own business. Cernos is quick. Quick and usually very cooperative. Yeah, he's just hanging out over there, having a grand old time. So like there, getting that skill shot was, hey, are you chasing me? Are you chasing me? Can you not? Hey, stop. Getting that skill shot was important because we didn't drop as much altitude. And so, I was able to glide further. I'm gonna try to outrun Cernos, and it's probably not gonna work because he's decently close and I need to go up a waterfall. But if you can outrun him for long enough, sometimes he'll leave you alone. Oh yeah, there's no way. He's not gonna let me do this. Cernos, go away! Cernos! Stop! Yeah, sadly I have to go, like, perpendicular to him here. Oh, he's leaving! Haha! Alright, so we avoided a reset by staying, like, just out of pace with him. And if you can make it to the top of a tower, when a cloud is chasing you like that, it'll automatically dispel the tower, or the cloud. So I wanted to get to the top of the tower. Thankfully he left before that. Okay, so we've purified his towers. And now, as with every boss, because this is all bosses, we're going to initiate a chase scene. So he has been made vulnerable by this pure energy. And you can see he had some eyeballs on him. Those are his weak points. So I gotta go, I gotta chase him, gotta shoot him in the weak points to slow him down so that he'll actually fight me. And then we'll fight him and hopefully make him feel better. So all chases are different. It's not just necessarily, you know, running after them and shooting at them. They're all going to have different attacks and different, you know, ways that they go about their chase. Well, I was lauding my skill shot ability before, and it has departed. That's alright. So once you take out half of a boss's weak spots, he's going to speed up. There's nothing we can do about that, so there's always 2 phases to every chase. First, we just gotta catch up to him. And I do need to be a little careful. I'm gonna play it kinda hard. And hopefully not get punished for it. We're kind of in a hallway here. This isn't necessarily scripted in the sense that, you know, I still have freedom of movement and he can change what he does depending on how close I am to him and stuff, but there's halfway, so he's gonna speed up. We are still in a hallway, and we're not supposed to deviate from just directly chasing him. So if I go too far off to the side, I could, like, break the event. And that can cause the camera to get real wonky, and for my controls to no longer work. So we're gonna try to cut some corners here without being too spooky. Second phase of the chase, he's gonna start attacking me like this. Of the bosses, Cernos' little fireballs here are not really that big of a deal. But you may notice that I don't really have a health bar, so like who cares if I get hit, right? In actuality, you do have a health bar, you just can't see it. If I get hit too much, there are certainly consequences. But hits will drain my stamina as well, which is yucky for a speed run for obvious reasons. It will not let me run as far. Okay, all weak points are hit, so now I'm gonna enlist the help of Pickles to take him down. And now he's weak enough that we can actually fight him. I love Cernos. I love his design so much. He's cool. I was trying to get him to swipe at me. There's a little bit of some manipulation that you can do here to his AI to hopefully get 2 shots. Yeah, like, it sucks that I got hit there, because now look at my stamina. Because now I need to, like, get close to him again. And I have basically no stamina to do it. Okay. We like this jump attack. Jump attack is good. It's fast. I'd like to get him to roar at me and swipe like that. Because there, as you can see, that was a cheeky shot that we were not supposed to get. It's actually pretty rare that that works. Next phase done with. Pickles being a real champion here. And this phase, the fastest attack that he can do is this front swipe, which often doesn't hit me. And you can see that it didn't there. So we try to bait that by going right up to his face. And even if it does hit me, it's just going to take stamina. And I can keep up with him by walking, so it doesn't matter. The only time that it matters is, like I said, you do have a health bar that you can't see. So if you take a couple hits in like really quick succession, you can get knocked out of the arena. And then you'll have to restart the phase of the boss that you were on. So you certainly just can't take hits willy-nilly, but you also can't really die. So here's our boy. This is what he's supposed to look like when he's not corrupted. And going forward, as we go through areas, you can look kind of at the environment and get hints about what the boss is going to look like when he's not sick anymore. So if you're clever, you can figure it out ahead of time. So Cernos reached into the spirit world and gave me a spirit arrow, or a moon arrow, that I used to purify the rest of his land. So the sun's out, you know, the clouds are gone, things are flourishing again, and the presence of the Godslayer has been removed. So that's one of the ticks on this big tower over here that we're trying to go up. And we gotta get rid of all of them before we can climb it. So that's gonna be 2 more gods that we have to fight before we can get up there. As an additional benefit though, every time you defeat a boss, they give you some rewards. So every time we're gonna get a flap from every god, and that's gonna obviously expand our movement abilities. But each god also has their own unique, like, blessing that they give you. So Cernos is here, the will of Cernos, is our spirit meter is longer. That's our stamina. So we basically just doubled our maximum stamina, which is obviously fantastic. And now we get 2 flaps as well. Lots more movement, lots more ability to go fast. And if you're playing this game casually, rest assured that what I just did with Cernos was like less than 5% of all of the content in his area. So you haven't seen anything, and you should definitely play this game without worrying that you've like been spoiled. There's so much. This game is huge. And there's more to do even after the boss fight, so... Like, I just left, but there's definitely more to do if you're just playing casually. There's like a little totem back there that you have to fill up, and you have to chase Cernos around. So now we're in a new place. New place, new god. Who dis? I can't. Skill shot me. I'm gonna try to skip the cutscene here. I haven't been able to get it to work for like a year. Nobody knows why it worked in the first place, so I guess I can't be too upset. Oh, that was like perfect alignment though. Oh no, it still did it. A lot of the time, if we can end up inside that building before the cutscene plays, it won't play. But like I said, we don't know why it happens. So... yeah, Mort's got eggy. Mort's got a lovely eggy. And don't forget, we've got the incentive to pet Pickles. So anytime you want me to pet my little bird friend here, it's just a sweet 2 buckaroonies that obviously go in support of erasing medical debt. plus upcoming bid wars for some of the oopsie, some of the runs that are coming later. Some outfit choices for like Link's Awakening and Resident Evil. So we still got cool stuff coming up. Donk. Now, we're gonna flap like that so that we can move during the cutscene. And now that the scene showing Sauro, our next boss, has played, we don't need to worry about touching the ground, which is great because he's gonna be right in my business. I know Sauro. He's over there in that cloud, and that cloud is gonna come right over toward my face, and he's not gonna let me like finish this puzzle. I know all about you, bro. What are you doing? Oh look, he's coming right towards me, and he's definitely not gonna let me finish this puzzle. Wow. Oh, and I missed. Cool. No, 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 no! That might not be good. We'll see. You want to be on the ground when you reset because it doesn't save your progress if you're in the air. Thankfully, we touched down on the ground up there before we did that wonky flap thing. Alright, sure. Wasn't the greatest, wasn't the worst. Sauro is directly where I need to be, once again. Because that's just how he rolls. Or I should say, that's just how he trolls. Right, buddy? It's random. Like, I literally talked to the devs and I was like, yo, what? What is up with this? And they confirmed it's random. So it's just unlucky. Hurry up, Pickles. Pickles, go. Pickles, Pickles, go, go, go. Alright. Oh, it didn't checkpoint your hard work, Pickles. I'm sorry. Alright, I think at least he's just gonna hang out over there for a while. Finally. So we've got a couple different kinds of puzzles that you've probably noticed by this point. And if we were doing any percent, we'd be over there by that mountain, climbing it. But we've got arch puzzles, which I just did, the ones where you like shoot through hoops. And the puzzle will tell you, if you actually like take the time to look at it, how many hoops you have to shoot through in order for it to count. There are torch puzzles like this one, where we have to light a specific torch, and that releases the light stone. There are pressure plate puzzles. Whoopsie. I'm gonna solve this one not in an intended way. There was like 6 other torches you were supposed to light. Pressure plate puzzles, though, are the ones where I stand on something and... or Pickles puts a weight on something, and it opens up a target. So even with these basic ideas, we have, you know, dozens and dozens of puzzles that play off of them in unique ways. They're also, like, technically button puzzles, but they're not really puzzles, because you just hit the button and then the light stone comes out, so... Not necessarily a puzzle. Those usually happen when the puzzle was getting to the light stone, you know. It's like your reward for having completed that little mini dungeon. You just get to press a button. Sauro left us alone. Look at that. And he's coming for us now, but it doesn't matter, because as soon as I activate this tower, he'll go away. And he's over there. Look at him being an absolutely cooperative little boy. What a guy. Like every single run, he is right on top of this tree. I am very pleased. So you'll notice that nowadays, starting with Sorrow and henceforth, all of the gods are going to be taking 2 light stones in order to turn their towers on. Cernos only took 1 because he was the first boss. You know, he's supposed to be a little easier. But that's why I'm getting so many light stones. Mort's great. I love Mort. Mort is fantastic. And I guess I just kind of took for granted that everybody knows who Mort is. Mort is my lizard. He's almost always my stream cam. So he's hanging out in the bottom left. He is a blue-tongued skink, which is to say, a sausage with legs. Little accidentally bad shots like that are how you ruin an entire run. Because most of the time, we don't actually look to make sure that we hit the target. And that's an easy way to think that you got a light stone, but you didn't. Two donations just now. Nice-oo. Okay, I'm gonna actually, for once in my life, use that mask. When there's inclement weather like this, you can use the mask to see clearly, to tell where the tower is. So, alright. It's Pickles petting time. Thank you so much for the donos. I'm out of flaps. So sad. Alright, we will pet Pickles as soon as I turn this tower off. Just so that Cernos, or Sorrow doesn't keep moving. Cool. So as always, we got 3 towers, we turned them on. It's gonna reveal Sorrow's weak points, and we're gonna chase him. But first, we're gonna pet Pickles. Because that's the truly important thing here. So as you can see, Sorrow is completely different. His boss fight's gonna be different. His chase is gonna be different. Pickles, come here. Yeah, it's like the apocalypse in the background, but like, don't worry about it. Give him a little rub, and he'll actually like tell you where he wants to be petted, see? And if you pet him there, he gets happy. Okay, we'll do another Pickles pet for those donations, but we'll do the chase first and the boss fight. Sorrow is the one I'm most likely to mess up the camera, trying to like cut corners. And if I'm too far up in the air, he shot fireballs at me. Usually they won't attack during the first phase of the chase, but they don't want you to be, like, just gliding the entire time. So he will start shooting fireballs if you stay up in the air for too long. It's just to encourage you to get on the ground and actually, like, chase him. Kind of morbidly curious if I could pet Pickles now, like in the middle of a chase. So Sorrow only has 4 weak spots, which means now that we've hit 2, he's going to speed up. And he's going to start doing his attacks. Sorrow's attacks are definitely problematic. Cernos wasn't a big deal, right? But Sorrow's are much more difficult. I would argue that his are the most difficult among the chases. These giant fireballs, because they send out those shockwaves. So if you're going uphill, you have a super, super small window to jump that little shockwave. Downhill, it's no big deal because you could just glide. But you have to be able to dodge it even if you can't see it. Like, I jumped that one just to be sure. But once we get close enough, he's gonna stop doing that, so... That was actually quite decent. So Sorrow's fight is definitely much, much different than Cernos. Cernos was really aggressive. He was right in our face shooting fireballs and swiping at us, you know. Yeah, that went really well. That was a really good chase, honestly. Sorrow is going to be completely different here. He's not quite so much of a fighter. You know, he can do some stompies. But he's... You know, he doesn't really have claws like Cernos did. So he's going to approach his combat with us entirely differently. Which is basically just crying like a little baby. He's like, Godslayer, this is really hard. I can't do this. Help. And so now he's the uber spicy giraffe. Because he got help from the Godslayer. And we stand absolutely no chance of just fighting him directly. So we're going to do a stealth section. And I very much appreciate that all of the bosses are different like this. I'm going to wedge my way back in this corner. Because I knew I wasn't going to make it through the door. So I was trying to... Ooh, that was close. Get stuck on the rock so that it didn't push me fully back when I got hit. You can see the edges of the screen are orange. That's my health bar, which I said, you know, before that you can't really see. If I had got hit in one more time, we would have had to restart this stealth section. So there is a penalty for losing health. We just take those hits on purpose. Because of the fact that this is a speed run and how this is paced, we always get to this section right when this cute little like brass section is playing in the soundtrack. And I just love this fight theme so much. I feel like it's really like boisterous. And I feel like most composers would not have gone this hard, you know? Nice. So we can basically iframe through that final attack by starting the input to hit him like that. Look at the visuals though! This game is so good. That was really, really nice. I know it didn't look like much, but that was quite fast. For that final, like, tornado section. Alright, so we get to purify our buddy, and we get to see what he looks like. Surprise! It's Morty. Hi, buddy. So just like before, just like with Cernos, he's gonna give me a moon arrow that I'm gonna use to help him cleanse the rest of his realm from the Godslayer's influence. And another one down. We are about halfway there. And that's appropriate because I'm expecting this run to take about an hour and 55 minutes, so. Right, Morty? Hi. So just like before, we're gonna get a flap for defeating the boss, and we're also gonna get his special boon. Strength of Sorrow. So now we get powerful talismans. You can tell which ones those are because they're orange, and they are awesome. Shunk. We go super, super fast when we hit orange talismans. Huge speed boost. So we're gonna be routing in, trying to hit as many of those as possible, because they are just so much better than the regular talismans. And I'm very rarely gonna do skill shots on orange talismans because we want to make sure that we hit them. I hit that tree. How dare. So we're heading to the whirlwind, we're heading to the next area, and that's the next boss as well. We'll go out of our way to grab this one real quick. Whoa! Did I almost glitch out of the world? That was a little spooky. I'm glad that that didn't happen, because that is possible. I did it on accident once, trying to find some speedrun tech in the final area, and you can't get out. If you get caught under the map, that's just like it. because the game does auto-saving based on like when you quit out, it makes an autosave. So you just you can't quit the game without just saving your place trapped out of bounds. Oops. That was a mistake on my part. No big deal. We were gonna have to watch this cutscene anyway, but I wanted to get a little bit closer to where I was gonna be. Now this is Nimue, and she is a right jerk, if we're being real. So because I had to play this on a new file, because of Donut County, I wasn't able to set up the glitch that is specific to Nimue. So we will have to do her entire boss fight, whereas there is an option to skip a phase if you set up the glitch before you start. She is usually really nosy. So she's gonna be, like, all up in our business, probably. The kind of puzzle that I'm doing now has just been introduced. We have to make the symbols, because it rotates, right? So we have to make the symbols match what they're supposed to be. This one was easy because it tells you literally on the ground what the symbols are supposed to be. But later, you gotta, like, cross half the map to figure out what the solution is. So they certainly get harder. And of course, as speedrunners, we know what the solution is, but... Cool. So I'm gonna pretend that accidentally triggering Nimue earlier means that she's gonna be nicer. I say as I can very clearly see that she's sitting right on top of where we need to be. Alright, well, we'll just get as far as possible. Oh man, that would be so annoying. Like if the solution was randomized, yeah, that would be super, super annoying. And actually in this area, I'm going to be using kind of an outdated route. There's a slightly faster one that to me is like way more complicated. So I'm just doing the one that is not that complicated. And I mean, I'm still 3rd place in this category, so this route is by no means bad. It's just, it's not the world record route anymore. I mean, okay, she's not here. Could it be that she's going to be nice to us for once? Almost always she's sitting right on that path. And so we like do a reset, get that one light stone, and then do a reset again. Because that's just kind of how she rolls. Alright, I'm gonna boost myself up into the air a little bit with this to make sure that we can make this instead of using the stairs that were back there. Now the new route would have taken us to the left. We're gonna go to the right because I like this puzzle and I want it to still exist. I'm a sucker for torch puzzles, okay? They're my favorite kind. Now we're also encountering, not necessarily for the first time, but for the first time at this big of a scope, that castle over there that's surrounded in mist. We're going there in a second, and that mist indicates that there's... Uh-oh. that there's a Godslayer statue. Which, if you recall, if Pickles sees a Godslayer statue, he won't help us at all until we get rid of it. So no gliding, no flapping, nothing. Excuse me. Nimue, you were supposed to go away when I did that tower? What a jerk. And she's still really close. Alright, so in order to get around this problem, we're just gonna glide over the problem. Oh no! It's alright. We touched up there, so you saw this thing come down. Sadly, this one didn't come down. Oh man. The physics are being brutal. That's okay. This is still much shorter than the entire, like, puzzle would be. It's not letting me land there. What's happening? So we got a bit of unlucky physics there at the top. Thank you. That caused us to bounce so far. Normally we would have just landed, like, directly on top of this tower and just done this right away. However, I've just been reminded that I never did the other Pickles pet. So instead of quitting out to the main menu here, we're gonna pet Pickles to make sure he's not on fire anymore. There you go, buddy. Mucho sorry. Nimue, honey. Can you not? Alright, I'm gonna go stand in front of this sigil and then get her to go away because she won't leave me alone. What is happening? Look at her! She's here again! Alright, it should be alright though. As long as we have time to get to the top of the tower, she'll go away. I told you she's nosy. Although, honestly, I would rather she didn't go away. I would rather she just stayed there. Because she's out of the way for the next puzzle. Which is like way over here. So yeah, if she wants to stay there, fine with me. Because we're hitting this puzzle down here. This little red area, you can see it shining. And then that tower. Come on through, friendo. Pickles is like super not willing to come through that door because he's not supposed to go that way. He's supposed to go around the left, but... Now we also get introduced to mirrors, another one of my favorite little puzzle tricks here. They reflect arrows, and I love these things so much. It's just super satisfying to like bend arrows around corners. Cool. Onward we go. So yeah, at this point, you know the drill, right? We go and do this tower. We chase Nimue, we do her fight. Profit. So as we get ready to do that, What are y'all doing today? It's Saturday everywhere, right? Is it still Friday in some places? It's very early Saturday here. It's 6:42 a.m. But I have been on the Pokemon Scarlet Violet train, so I beat the game, and now I'm trying to like farm up a full shiny team to do post-game stuff. Gonna get some Taco Bell. Just a chill Saturday. Osbando has been playing this game on my computer called Across the Obelisk, which I guess if you like Slay the Spire, check that out. It's quite similar. And he's been really having a lot of fun with that. He's just really sad he can't play Slay the Spire, basically. He craves Slay the Spire, but he's already got like the Platinum trophy in it. Once Nimue is completed, we will be in the final area, by the way, where we can pet Pickles. So if anybody is interested in more Pickles pets, don't forget that those are available as a donation reward for $2. As well as some of the bid wars that are coming up. We have costume choices for Resident Evil and costume choices for Link's Awakening. But yeah, so he's sad that he can't play Slay the Spire anymore because there's like nothing for him to do. He's already done all of the things. So he's into Across the Obelisk and I suppose occasionally like Darkest Dungeon. Which I don't know. I can see the appeal in Slay the Spire. I think that one is fun. Darkest Dungeon, maybe a little bit too stringent for me. Like, it gets a little bit too stressful for me to have fun, you know? But it's a really good game. It all just depends on what you like, I guess. He spent some time playing Longest Dark, too. He's just been kind of in a serious game mode for a while. Although I guess we did play It Takes Two as well, which was a lot of fun. I absolutely wrecked him at Plunger Dunger, and he's never forgotten it. Alright, so Nimue only has 4 weak spots, which means we hit 2, she's going to speed up. If the camera is going to break, it's going to be here, as I try to cut this corner. Alright, thankfully we didn't break anything. Ouch. It's the first time I've been hit, I think, in a chase. To her, fireballs don't matter. They're super, super easy. They're easier even than Cernos. I say as I nearly get hit by one. To her, chase is really not that big of a deal. She didn't even stomp. I was like pausing so that I didn't shoot during a stomp, but she didn't even care. Yeah, Long Dark, like I guess spoilers for the survival mode of Long Dark. We haven't played the story, so I don't actually know, but Long Dark is just like a survival game. And to me, like, I would like it a lot more if, like, the only change I would make to survival mode of Long Dark is that there is a randomly generated value for your rescue. You know, so in some runs, like, you know that you just have to survive until you get rescued. So in some runs that would be like 3 days, and in some runs it would be like 6 months, and you don't know. But there's like there's that hope, right? That at some point somebody's gonna come save you. But right now the survival mode is literally just survive as long as you can. So I would like to see it where there is like a random chance of rescue, you know? But I understand why they didn't do that. And you have story mode if you want to like not just play forever. Whoa. I almost got hit. So Nimue, this boss, unironically really, really hard. And I should probably like stop talking so I can actually pay attention. This is the part that we would have been able to skip if I had been able to set up the glitch beforehand. It is actually really nice to be able to skip this because if you can't tell, this is decently long and decently hard. If we get hit by any of these heads, all of the heads will grow back. So it can quickly become like a vicious cycle of failing to quite finish the boss and then having to like basically restart the phase over and over again. Okay. We're good though. So yeah, we would have skipped right from ending the first phase when Pickles got caught to him just like immediately bursting back out. It has something to do with like how save data persists across multiple playthroughs that causes you to be able to skip that. I like how it counted me as getting hit, even though the platform went away, which meant that I very obviously landed on it. Pickles! Caw. So that was Nimue's boss fight. We get to purify her, we get to see what she looks like. She's a good schnick. She's a little bit of an annoying schnick. She's very nosy, but that's okay. We love her. Good morning, Noodles. It's 6:50 in the morning, and that's when the lights turn on for the Noodles, who are sitting next to me. There's reptiles everywhere. This house is just full of reptiles. Thanks for hanging out, Moose. Have a good day. Okay, so this tower that we've been working for an hour and 12 minutes to deactivate is finally done. It's not cursed anymore, so we can go up there, take the whirlwind, and proceed to a place that we normally wouldn't have been able to get to unless you're doing any percent. So as always, we get a flap and we get Cadence of Nimue, which is fantastic, and we're going to use it immediately. It makes our flaps recharge faster. So now, you know, we always get one flap recharged automatically by touching the ground. But now, basically all of your flaps come back at that speed, which is great. A lot faster movement. And yeah, we're going to use that immediately because we're going to be like abusing flaps in a second. So it's a little bit sad It always makes me sad to skip this, but at the top of this tower that we've been working toward, there's a cutscene. And so we haven't really looked at the story at all. The story is told in this game through, obviously, like, the boss cutscenes, but also, like, you see there's, like, a bunch of wagons and stuff here that are broken. If we wandered around here, we would find people's bodies, and we would be able to talk to their spirits and things like that to figure out what has been happening. So the story that we've been missing, you know, is basically the Godslayer has been wandering around this place trying to, you know, curse all of the other gods and create the one true path, which is just, you know, a religion based on him, unsurprisingly. So basically he's like, you know, there are like too many gods. It would be way easier if there was just one, so that everybody just knew what the answer was and they didn't have to, like, figure it out, you know? And I'll get back to the story in just a second because we're gonna go out of bounds. So yeah, at the top of this tower is a cutscene that would tell us a lot more about the Godslayer. But that cutscene takes like 10 minutes because it's a cutscene plus a fight with the Godslayer, which is really cool, but, you know, save 10 minutes or don't save 10 minutes, you know? So instead, we're gonna go out of bounds here. We've already passed by an invisible wall. We snuck right past it. And now we very carefully climb. This is what any percent is. You just very carefully climb. Until we're high enough that we don't have to worry about the invisible wall anymore. If we try to flap right now, because we're in a place we shouldn't be, behind this invisible wall, it'll push us back out. And so we don't want to flap just yet. At least until we're about here. And now we're safe. So we're technically out of bounds. Just because there's talismans here doesn't, like, mean anything. Because they just spawn wherever they think that they can, even if you're not supposed to be there. So we've gone out of bounds. We've skipped this tower down here, which is where we would do the fight with the Godslayer, which means that we skip that cutscene trigger, and we save that 10 minutes-ish. So yeah, on to the next area. So as I was saying, you know, Godslayer wants to take away all of these different gods and just make it so it's just him. Because he thinks that it's too confusing for people to, like, pick which way is the right way. And so, like, I really like him. You know, he's a sympathetic antagonist because he's trying to help people. He's doing what he thinks is right. And so he's been going all across these lands and solving like a complex set of, like, puzzles and riddles to gain access to the Sun Sword, which has been hidden, you know, on this island for thousands of years, presumably. And we learn that he succeeded. He's completed all of the trials, a lot of them by brute force, like he wasn't supposed to. And he has acquired this Sun Sword, which is, like, super, super powerful. And that's what we would have learned if we saw that cutscene. We would have faced him with the Sun Sword and just been absolutely wrecked. Because he's, like, way too powerful. So hey, surprise, there's another god up here. Most people expect there to only be 3 gods because that's how many it takes to turn off that pillar. But Kumo's hanging up here. And he is a big strong boy. He's the youngest child of the Eagle Mother. And you will see lots and lots of skeletons in this area. Because he's really strong, and he just wants to play with people, but plays a little too tough, and they don't survive his playtime. Oh, hi, dear. Sure. So yeah, we didn't get to watch that cool cutscene, but Godslayer has the Sun Sword now. That's bad news for us, because he absolutely kicks our butt, and there's nothing we can do about it. Super glad that Kumo moved. That was really helpful. Because we're going over here now, and that's exactly where he was. But yeah, like, check out that big skeleton up there on that mountain. All of them are, you know, just creatures that Kumo was trying to play with, but he was a little bit too rough. Alright, he's not really chasing me. He is. That's one thing about Kumo. Like, he is chasing me, even from all the way over there. But it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. That's actually too far, I think. Oh, not quite. Beautiful. You can see, he's closer, isn't he? He's coming. But we have time. I'm just gonna stay away from him. He can mind his own business. So skill shots are super important in this area to help us, you know, not drop altitude. This area, oh, Kumo, buddy, did you really have to? This area is as big as, oh, just touch the ground, okay. This area is basically as big as all of the previous areas combined. So being able to do skill shots and stay in the air for as long as possible is like huge for movement. Doing a quick torch puzzle. Getting a little bit stormy, but that's okay. We've got our mask to look around if we need to. And we're also, I didn't mention these before, we're introduced to these new talismans, these blue ones. They basically just count as a free flap. Very convenient. And those were not any kind of, like, reward or anything. It's just kind of unique to Kumo's area. Alright. One tower down. We're already well on our way. We need 3 more light stones in the entire game. Where is my castle? Here it is. I definitely 100% know what I'm doing. So as you can see, this castle has a cloud around it. We learned before that that means there's a Godslayer statue inside, which means Pickles is going to be very upset. So Pickles is not going to help me, and I'm going to solve this puzzle very much not the way you're supposed to. Oh, hi. I don't like you being there, because I'm going to be inside and I can't see if you're chasing me until you're already on my face. But I don't know that he can get me in here. I'm not sure. So yeah, you're supposed to, like, approach every one of these talismans from the outside. and like do a bunch of platforming like from out there to get to them. But we have essentially one chance to go through here this way without doing all of the platforming that's required. This is one of the harder jumps here. Cool. Alright. Nice. So this entire castle that's supposed to take you like 10 minutes, we're just done. And we're gonna reset because Pickles, every time that he sees a Godslayer statue, he catches on fire. That's a thing. But if we reset, then he's not gonna be on fire anymore. And as an added bonus, that got rid of Kumo for us. So there's one of those puzzles I was talking about before, like a button puzzle, where, like, it's not really a puzzle. It's just, you get to press the button because the puzzle was just getting to the sigil. So you can't see it yet, but down here a little bit further, there is a hoop puzzle, but one of the hoops is frozen. So we gotta light these torches so that we can melt it. And there we go. And melt that one. I am shocked, to be honest, that Kumo let me do that. And we're just gonna reset here because I need to go directly through there. And like I said before, if you have to reset while you're gliding, it doesn't remember how far you glided. So, like, I could have made it like halfway across here, and then I would have had to reset and lost all that progress, so. So this is when skill shots are really important, this section in particular. If we don't do a majority of skill shots across here, we'll just end up on the floor. Thankfully, we only missed one. Alright, one more lightstone, and we will be done with all of this lightstone business. Okay, I'm glad that that was actually correct. I 100% just assumed that Kumo was in my way, and so I went towards him instead of actually looking where I was going. But this is right. Yeah, he's in my way. I'm gonna go as far as I can. Kumo has honestly been pretty placid for this run. Usually he really, really aggressively chases you, but like, look at him. He's right next to me. So I'm gonna try not to touch down because I don't want to like provoke his ire. We have to touch down here for the puzzle, but... I just cannot get these torch puzzles to work today. But one of my favorite things to do, you can get this puzzle to work both ways because of how arrow collision works in this game. So that mirror is going to both be in the way and not be in the way at the same time. And it's going to be great. So here, it's going to be in the way that we need it to. Here, it's not going to be in the way, even though we didn't move it. And that's just super cheeky, and I adore that so much. It's like my favorite little cutesy speedrun trick. Alright, so there's those 2 light stones. And there's our final tower. We are very quickly going to run out of opportunity to pet Pickles. So if anybody was thinking about petting Pickles anymore in the rest of this run, 2 buckaroonies to charity will do it. And I'll let you know when we no longer have the opportunity for reasons. We're gonna recharge flaps here real quick. This is quite a distance we have to travel. Missing that skill shot, not really what I wanted. That one was kind of important. Because now I'm gonna have to touch down. Or like almost touch down there. And I don't get the extra little like flat momentum that I wanted, but alright. Okay, so the chase with Kumo begins. You will see that Kumo has by far the most weak spots, which means he's the strongest. His chase is also difficult. I wouldn't quite say as difficult as Sauro, but he certainly puts up a fight. And with 8 weak points, that's a lot of shooting. Uh-oh. That's a yikes for me, dog. I'm gonna have to plug the controller in. Thank you, subtitles. That's a yanks for me, dog. I appreciate that. Alright. Well, while the cutscene's playing after we defeat Kumo, hopefully I can find a cord. He do be zooming. I guess he more be trundling, don't he? So we're just a smidge behind where I would like to be because I accidentally took a shot at a target that was behind me. I like to have the first shot on him while we're in that corridor back there. But, you know, no big deal. It depends on what he does in the second phase. He's very easy to keep up with once you're up here because he only walks. He did, however, juke that arrow. He shook it off so it missed its target. I had to take an extra shot. That's alright, though. He's got abs for days, by the way. Just super swole, bro. So yeah, these meteors are the thing that he does that are difficult to deal with. Because the terrain is so uneven, it's really hard to see where they're gonna hit. And if you get hit by one, it's really easy to get hit by a bunch. Because they come in like clusters. Oof. That one was a little bit spooky, but we're close enough now he's gonna stop. Okay, so the fight with Kumo, super long, because he's such a thick boy. He's very strong. Principle here, number one, he likes to play. So that's why he's doing all this pouncing and keeps just trying to get, you know, closer to you to smack you and stuff like that. He's not actually trying to hurt you, he's just trying to play. But he has a lot of heat inside his body. And you'll see that every time we foil one of his attacks, where he's trying to throw fire at us, because he doesn't get to discharge that fire, his body gets hotter. And so you'll see him gradually heat up as the fight goes on. Oops, I dropped it like exactly the wrong time. Yeah, no, he's just trying to play. We just don't want to end up like all the other skeletons in the area who were trying to play with him. Wow, he was not willing to show that other eyeball. That took forever. Don't really want the slam. That's like the least advantageous thing he can do because we can't punish him for it. But this is where you'll really start to see him heat up because he keeps trying to throw fire at us. And we keep stopping him. Still not done though. I told you he's a thicky boy. Alright, I'm gonna beta slam. Just so that he stops walking. Otherwise he takes forever to just trundle. Alright, there we go. So, as always, we'll do our little ritual thing and get rid of the curse. Last call for Pickles Pets. Pickles Pets are $2 in donations. We also have upcoming bid wars for the tunic color for Link's Awakening and some costumes for Resident Evil Remaster. All in support of RIP medical debt, of course, which helps to erase people's medical debt. And Kumo's a bear. A little bit tricksy on the part of Giant Squid, because Kumo obviously means... I say obviously as if people would know this. Means spider in Japanese. And he kind of, like, he acts like a spider, you know. 8 legs, 8 weak spots, climbing around on walls. But he's actually a bear. Done got bamboozled. So we're up here. We've purified his place just like everybody else's, and now finally we can get up to that castle that's going to let us get to the island in the sky. And the island in the sky is where the Godslayer has been hanging out since the beginning of the game. So we're coming to get him. That being said, we didn't get to see it during the speedrun, but he absolutely kicked our butts last time because he has the Sun Sword. And nothing has really changed. I mean, we get this blessing from Kumo, this Might of Kumo, where we can basically do like an Uber flap that goes really, really far. That's not necessarily useful against the Sun Sword, so like I guess we're just going to fight the Godslayer anyway, even though nothing has changed since the last time that he just absolutely trounced us. It's a little bit weird to think, you know, because this is an all bosses run, so you associate like good speed running with doing the boss as well. But actually, this is one of the key sections where like you can lose a ton of time if you don't do this well. For some reason, it's like this section in particular is a lot of speedrunners' bane of their existence. So we're trying not to use any flaps to get up here, because we're going to use Kumo's Uber flap to go here and just zoom right to the top. Alright, final call for Pickles Pets if anybody wants them. Get them in the next like 30 seconds. And other than that, we are going up to confront the Godslayer. This music is a banger. The music is just so good. Like, the character design for our pilgrim is like super heavily based on some of the horseback archers and eagle tamers from the Altai region, which is kind of like Mongolia-ish. And the music is very reminiscent of that too, with like the throat singing and all that. It has a very unique flavor, and I like it a lot. Alright, that do be it for Pickles Pets. So yeah, as if we didn't stand a chance before, you know, he broke our bow, so it's like even worse. That's the Sun Sword, by the way. Our little boy has grown up to be so handsome and strong. So strong. So yeah, as he said before, he's trying to create the one true path. He's trying to get rid of all the other gods so that people know what the right answer is. Like he's creating a path to salvation that everybody can follow. So I sympathize with him, you know? This section is one of the hardest in the entire speedrun to do well. So, it's a stealth section, obviously. If we step into these shadows, that protects us from pickles, but it can also make us stumble. So there's a little bit of skill involved in not stumbling when you get in here, not triggering that animation. So I didn't let him see me there. We're gonna have to wait for him because I do want him to see me here. It's all about cycling, you know, making sure the cycles line up. Alright, no stumble. So this was very good. If we get a stumble up here, it's fine. Like, obviously you don't want that because it takes time, but... Unlike the other ones, if we stumble, it doesn't mean that we have to, like, wait an extra cycle. But no stumble, so that was essentially perfect. That's exactly what speedrunners want for that section. Okay, so we don't have a bow, we don't have pickles, and the Godslayer has the Sun Sword. This is bad. We couldn't beat him before. We certainly can't beat him now. But this island, before the Godslayer came here, used to belong to the Eagle Mother. And it's the entrance to the spirit world. Because that's where she comes from. So we're gonna, like, pray here. And that's gonna take us to the spirit world. And here's all of our friends! We saved them throughout the run, and so they're here. And they've got something for us as well. Throughout the game, you hear references to this. This is the moon bow. You hear references to it as you're learning about the Godslayer and, like, his trial to get the Sun Sword, because the moon bow was created in opposition to the Sun Sword. So at least we have a bow now. I love this animation so much. I talk about it every single time. Watch how he lowers his sword. How heavy it looks. Like, they did just such a good job. Like, right there, it's just like a little uneven. It just makes it look heavy. It makes it look, like, real. Like it has weight. Alright, so here's the Godslayer. So every god on this island so far has had 3 towers, right? Since this place used to belong to the Eagle Mother, she also has 3 towers, which you can see in the background. And since Pickles was our gift from her, or in other words, Pickles is the reincarnation of the Eagle Mother when the Godslayer destroyed her at the beginning, Pickles should also respond if we purify these towers. And so we're going to try to help him. We're doing multiple things simultaneously. We're trying to help Pickles by turning on these towers. We're trying to stop the Godslayer from ascending, which he's going to be doing by sucking up the power of the other tall ones. Right here. So we're trying to stop him from doing that. We're trying to save Pickles. All while we're, like, fighting him. Pickles is attacking us. There's a lot going on. Oopsie, I ran right into that. I would really rather not get knocked out of the arena in this fight. And I just got hit twice, so we are actually going to be a little bit careful here. One more hit's all it'll take. And it'll go away after a while. Like, the damage will heal after a while. I cannot get hit by Pickles here. Ooh, and that was actually really close. Pickles, please stop. I'm hurt. Okay, Godslayer, can I, like, purify a tower, please? Because it's gonna heal me. So it gets harder and harder, more shots, to stop him from ascending every time. Alright, there we go. We've healed our damage, thankfully. Just in time for Pickles to do it again. But we'll be careful this time. Alright, we're almost there. We got one more tower to turn on to help Pickles. See, look at how big the Godslayer is. You don't realize how big he is until he gets, like, right up in your face. He is certainly not person-sized. Also love the touch that when you shoot him with the moon bow, it makes like a crescent moon. Alright, so harder than ever to stop him. Takes 3 shots now per sigil. Alright, we've turned these towers on. Just like with all the other gods, when all 3 of them get turned on, it starts to purify them, so hopefully we can try to save Pickles. But sadly, there's just so much going on, we couldn't stop him from ascending. So he's a tall one now, which is exactly what he wanted, right? He wanted to be like the one god, to create the one true path. So I don't have time to do this whole like purification ritual on Pickles like I normally would with all the other gods. My only choice is I'm taking the curse from inside Pickles and I'm putting it inside myself to save Pickles. So now I'm the one inside the cloud. Just like throughout the entire game we've been, you know, being chased by these corrupted gods inside this cloud. Now it's me, because I'm the one who's cursed. And so I'm trying to fight my way out and remember who I am. Thankfully, these lights will always be in the same place, but since we really have like no visual cues once we face the outside of the cloud, it's really easy to think that you're like almost exactly on it, but actually be going like off to the side. So this is certainly another difficult part of the speedrun, even though it's just walking in lines, right? And I'm doing this very specific camera manipulation without moving my character to try to get these light sources to appear. So yeah, Moonbow, not strong enough to defeat the Godslayer. That's a yikes. Hi, Pickles! So this is rad. I love this so much. We found Pickles. We're still cursed, but we remember who we are at least. Pickles is here with us. All of our friends are here with us. And they're gonna give us their power to power up this Moonbow so that we actually have a chance against the Godslayer. Caw. This fight is rad. I love this so much. The music, and there's so much going on. It can be difficult in the context of a speedrun because we really don't want to be hit here. The timing is very specific for being able to do some of these things. But there's shockwaves, there's fireballs. Alright, we'll get the double shot on that hand. That was most important. You're not supposed to be able to shoot that hand twice, but if you do it correctly, you can reduce that by a cycle. So one of the cool things about this upgraded moonbow is that, like that, if we miss a shot because it arches like over his head because he tilts his head, it will actually cycle around and come back, which is really, really cool. Like that one missed, but that's okay. You'll see it come back in a little bit. That one missed too. You'll see it come back. There was like all three that just came back like together. And there was the other one. From like out of nowhere. Just did the finishing hit. I am loving the number of missed shots we're getting. Watch for it to come back. It's out there. Although we might not give it time. Yeah, we just finished it. Alright, and that would be time if we were stopping the timer. We are not. Because we're just transitioning immediately into Donut County. But we can still enjoy the ending here. So this is why this game is called the Pathless. You know, I sympathize with the antagonist. He wanted to make it easy for everybody, but like she said, you know, you have to find your own way. And if you follow somebody else's, then it's not right for you because it's, you know, it's for somebody else. So we're still cursed, which sucks, because we don't have towers. You know, all of the other gods had towers that would help to purify them, and we don't. So that's not necessarily great, but you know, we defeated our enemy, and since Pickles is the reincarnation of the Eagle Mother, he should be able to just get things going again. Oh yeah, no, for sure. He definitely went about it in a not okay way, you know. I sympathize with his motive. I don't sympathize with his actions, right? His strategy to do so. Alright, so I'm gonna switch games real quick. We're gonna switch right to Donut County. I will be right back.